All right, so let's start with some introductions. I'm not going to ask you to introduce yourself. We're not right now. You already introduced yourself in the chat. But just so you understand kind of where this program fits in the context of our greater programs, there's an umbrella organization called Show Me Green Schools, and that encompasses three different programs. The Green Schools Quest, which some of you are actually a part of also, Missouri Green Schools, which is where you're at, and then we are the nominating body for the state of Missouri for the U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Award. So we're going to talk about Missouri Green Schools tonight, and I will briefly mention the Green Ribbon Award as well. That organization, the Show Me Green Schools umbrella organization, is run by two different nonprofits, and we work completely in tandem together. So you have been receiving emails from Leslie Moylan earlier in past years, and maybe Hope Gribble. Leslie is now moving into just taking care of Green Ribbon schools, and I'm taking Missouri Green Schools. I'm the new Hope, if you knew Hope Gribble. She actually moved into a school-based position, and so now I'm the Green Schools coordinator for Missouri Gateway Green Building Council. So these two organizations together, we run Show Me Green Schools. All of my contact information is there. It's also in the chat. Your Show Me Green Schools programs are all governed by a committee, and that committee is made up of members from both of the governing organizations, both MIA and the Missouri Gateway Green Building Council. This is more of just an FYI, just so that you know that there is an entire group of people who are trying to make sure that our programs are fair and equitable and representative of our entire state and also the region of Southern Illinois, which we also support. So we have people from the built industry, we have people from nonprofits, we have educators, we have former educators, and a retired educator this year. But we also have architects and designers, people who really understand what the sustainability systems look like in a school. So that's just a heads up, FYI. All right, let's talk about y'all, the most important people, the schools. So right now, this year, we have 43 active schools and 10 past schools. If you're interested, when you look at this presentation on your own, all of this is hyperlinked in there. There's that currently active school link will take you to all of the contact information for the school lead for each of the schools. If you are a person who does not want to share your contact information, it's just your email address, FYI. Just let me know and I'll take it off immediately. But hopefully, what we're doing is building a community of schools that are willing to ask each other questions and help out when we can. These stars represent everybody in our programs, both the currently active schools and the 10 past schools. The geographic location is heavily weighted in the St. Louis area, which makes sense because both the MIA and the Missouri Gateway Green Building Council are based in St. Louis. So when the program started, it was very much a St. Louis effort. But as the program grew, we realized we had to have representation across the rest of the state and that this was too good of an opportunity to pass up. So we are expanding into all regions of the state as fast as we possibly can. It's really important for us to reach diverse populations of students, especially from a socioeconomic standard. So our free and reduced lunch statistics are there. Everybody in orange is receives extra support because of the number of students in free and reduced lunch services. And then we are predominantly public schools, but we also serve 30% private schools and two schools, 5% are charter. These are our leveled schools this year. That means that these schools received a new level. And so we're going to talk about how to get there. But if you're one of these schools, congrats to you. It's really exciting and very challenging to do. I myself am a former principal, and my school also was in Missouri Green Schools when I was a principal. So I know how much hard work goes into documenting all of this stuff and how it is not the first priority on your list. So congrats to all schools that were able to reach a new level this year. Just for a screenshot purposes, this is a list of all of the schools that currently have a level in our programs. So if you feel like taking a screenshot or taking a photo, we're going to come back to this in just a moment or later in the presentation. So just kind of wanted to give some props here to who is already in a level of our program. These are our newly enrolled schools or our schools that don't have a level yet. There's almost just as many of these as there are leveled schools, so we are definitely in a growth pattern right now where we're pushing our schools to become more and more invested in their sustainability initiatives. All right, so let's go ahead and talk through some of the logistics of the program. And again, feel free to stop me at any point. I just want to make sure that we get through the content of the material, but feel free to come off mute or go ahead and hit the chat button for me if you have questions. All right, so once you get into the program, or once you're interested in the program, I know tonight we have at least two people on here who are interested in joining the program but have not yet. The first thing that you need to do is enroll. It's a simple online form, should take probably 5 minutes to complete. And then signing a letter of commitment. It's very simple. It just says, yes, we would like to be in the program. What's a little bit more time consuming is the Missouri Green Schools baseline self-assessment. And that's what this image is down here on the bottom right. It's a yes/no questionnaire that just asks you basically how much do you know already about your school's sustainability initiatives or lack thereof. If your school is anything like mine, which was over 100 years old and enormous, it had almost no sustainability initiatives whatsoever. So it didn't take me long to fill out the baseline self-assessment. Most of my answers were no, I do not have this, or no, I have no idea where to find this information. And that's perfectly fine. It's really just meant to get you a baseline of where do I even start? Speaking of start, the next thing to do is to find the start metrics. Again, this is all hyperlinked into in the actual PowerPoint, but I will send you these links as well. The START tool is a really incredible tracking tool that helps you identify goals for very specific metrics. There are 53 metrics in the START program. I have screenshotted here at the bottom left of your screen, just an example. Number 40 is grounds management. And it says the START metric is about managing school grounds in ways that protect and promote environmental health and biodiversity, for example, through integrated pest management and sustainable land care. And then it tells you exactly how to do that. So START is not just a tracking tool, it's also a learning tool, and it's free for all of our schools in Missouri Green Schools, which is pretty awesome because very few things are free for schools. So everything about our program is free. So the START metrics are really special and it gives you a starting point when you really don't know that much about school sustainability. Let's say you might be the art teacher at the school. There's nothing in your background that might have prepared you to know anything about sustainability. And the whole goal of the START program is that any human being can use it. It's also student friendly. So if you want your students to do the metricing and the traffic and the tracking, and you want them to do all the data collection, they can. It's very exciting and easy. We'll get into that a little bit more later. After we go through the basics, then it's really time to get organized. And the most important thing is make a one-on-one appointment with me. I have a Calendly app or a link that is super easy and very user-friendly. You just sign up for a 30-minute time, and I'll help you understand where your school is at, what contacts we have for you, what you guys have done in the past. You might be brand new to this program. You might be the person that somebody left your school and now it's dumped in your lap, and you're like, I don't even know what this thing is. That's a great thing to come and meet me, and I can tell you everything that your school has done in the past. This other link is important dates in your calendar for professional development, but I'm going to go through each one of those tonight, so don't feel like you need to look at that right now. So in general, I've given you kind of the calendar for the year here. This is a great one to take a screenshot of. In January, right now, we're kicking off the year, and every January we'll have a similar meeting. But we also offer the START technical training. So if you're somebody who has used START in the past, but you kind of forgot, or you're somebody who has never used START, or you have no idea what START is, this training is for you. It's a really simple step by step. Here's how you log in, here's how you create your account. And then the second half of that meeting is for more advanced information. So if you're somebody who has used START, but you have a lot of specific tech questions, then I suggest signing up for that training and coming to the latter half of it. In February, we start the Missouri Green Schools Learning Series, and each month I offer basically a how-to class, and it's specific to groups. February, March, or April, I require a one-on-one meeting with me just to kind of see where you're at, how you're doing, what help I can offer you, and make sure that you're on pace. In March, we have an optional program that I always like to promote, and that's the Green Schools Conference in Orlando, Florida. It's always at a different location. And this year, I think, with the cold right now, I'm pretty excited to go to Orlando. So we are a promotional partner of theirs, and it's incredible professional development and networking. The most important thing you get out of it is networking with other educators who are interested and invested in school sustainability. Obviously, that's optional for y'all. Um, we also offer Missouri Green Schools 201, which is how to achieve the next level. April, we have a huge, huge, wonderful celebration event. It's really, really fun. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight. We also offer how to do energy waste and water tracking and audits. And then in May, we're going to talk about anyone interested in Green Ribbon. In June, that's when you really start getting all of your compilation for the request for review so that you can get a new level. I also offer one-on-one meetings during that time. And then in July, the request for review is due. The request for review is a process where you show all of your documentation of the school sustainability initiatives that you've taken on, and you submit it to our team. And me and the committee that I mentioned earlier, we make sure that we look through every single piece of your documentation and we decide which level you're at for the next year. In August, we know that absolutely nothing is happening with Missouri Green Schools because you guys are going back to school, and that is where your focus needs to be. So we do absolutely nothing in August. In September, we only have a celebration, which is fun. It's just a simple 1 hour celebration where we let you know which level your school is at, and we basically brag on you and give you fun swag. So it's really fun to attend. And then in October, November, and December, we offer all of those programs again to schools that have enrolled over the spring or summer and missed the spring semesters courses. All right, so the other part of phase two, getting organized, is setting up a green team and a school profile in START. The green team is really very simple and it looks totally different in every single school. It might just be you and two other teachers. It might include students, it might include your administrator, it might include district officials like facilities managers or something to that effect. A green team is really just so that this is not all on you because this is a lot of work and it's fun and exciting and kind of life-giving work, but we don't want you to be the only person who's doing it. Also, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to get other people educated and invested in school sustainability. Once you've got that green team and you've got somebody who knows what they're doing in the START profile, then you start tracking your sustainability accomplishments. You start tracking energy, water, and waste, and you start tracking your educational programming. Of those 53 metrics that we're looking for, there's three categories. The first is educational programming. So that might be like what is in your actual curriculum that you are teaching, or what kind of classes do you offer to your students or to your staff members. The second category is organizational, and that's very programmatic and also like very logistical. And then the final category is physical, and that's the hardest category to achieve growth in because it really means changing some big fundamental systems in your school building. And you might not be the decision maker or the money maker of your building to make those decisions. And so it takes a long time to convince a district sometimes to change a physical practice of a school building. And we know that, and we recognize it, and we allow it. All right, so I mentioned the request for review process. This is when every single year on July 1st, you turn in a whole slew of documents that say, here's what we've done this year. This form that's hyperlinked here is just a Google form. It's really easy to fill out. The only thing that I'll tell you is it's easy to fill out, but it does take some time. So this is something that you're going to want to set aside in your calendar to really make sure you know that you've got all your information and that you're ready to do the request for review before you start. In May and June, I'd say this is really the greatest time to gather the data and to make sure that you meet with me if you need to and just say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, or I lost this and I don't know how to document this, yada, yada, yada. So those May, June months are really important for collecting. And then the submitting happens by July 1st. You can submit anytime you want this year and or anytime before July 1st, but July 1st is the official deadline. And then we announce the new levels with press kits and social media kits, and we help you celebrate your achievements in September. Celebration, there's two major celebrations that happen. The first one is in April this year, April 16th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. This is called the annual Green Schools event, and this is where we celebrate everybody in all of the Show Me Green Schools programs, including Missouri Green Schools. This will be our first year where we are really highlighting you as an individual school at the program, and we're also giving every Missouri Green Schools the opportunity for students to present. So, what we do, this is a hybrid event this year. So, we have an in-person event at the Missouri History Museum, and then we will also have a Zoom event. And students are able to create a science fair tri-board of some of the sustainability initiatives that are going on in their school. And there'll be usually about 200 to 250 people at this event. And people, for the first 30 to 40 minutes, they wander around and the students get to present their accomplishments. It is awesome and so amazing to watch students talk about these sustainability initiatives. If your students are not involved in your Missouri Green Schools initiatives, that is okay. That is not a requirement of this program. So don't feel bad if you say, well, my students don't even know what's going on. That's okay. But if they do, and if they're a part of it, then all the merrier. They should come to this event and they should get the free dinner that comes with it, which is really fun. And we also will celebrate them at the award ceremony. The second one is for adults. This is a virtual celebration, and this is on September 3rd. Right now, it's set for 7 p.m., but I'm just going to warn you that that is probably going to change. We only have tonight and this other event at 7 p.m. All of our other events are at different times. And it's very challenging to find a time that works for everybody, but we'll see. This event is only for the Missouri Green Schools because this is the time where we announce what level you have achieved for the upcoming school year. So this is a great time for, celebrations, but we also invite all of our professional sustainability I guess, connections and mentors to come to this meeting so that they can network with you and basically provide a virtual breakout room for anyone who's interested in their services or partnering with them in the future. This could lead to a lot of grants. We get a lot of money out of this one. So a lot of people who are interested in providing free projects for school because they get a tax break for doing that. Or schools that need a mentor, maybe just somebody to come in and chat with them about what's available. This is a great opportunity for networking. So save the date for that one. And then the final aspect of celebrating the accomplishments of this program is really just on you and what you want to do and how big of a deal you want to make it for your school. When I was a school principal in St. Louis Public Schools, it was very important to me that we got recognized for accomplishing something that was well beyond the scope of our budget and our curriculum, and also really helped my students. And so we had a celebration at our school, and we invited everybody, including the mayor, who came, which was very exciting. And our school board came, all of our, superintendent, the assistant superintendents. It was very fun and very exciting. And that's really up to each school. Some schools, they don't want that big of a publicity. Other schools, they want to shout it from the rooftops. But whatever we can do to support you in that, we will do. And then we also provide a social media promotional kit that gives you logos and, sample texts to use. And then we also tag you on basically everything, which is very fun. All right. Any questions so far? I know I'm going through this very quickly, but I think we're okay so far. All right. Like I said, stop me if you do have questions. So this part is going to be really important for individual schools, and I'd like to pause here to give you something in the chat real quick. I'm going to give you a link to see your school's individual status, meaning I want you to see where your school is at for levels. Mhm. All right. So the link is in the chat, and this will take you to a document that shows your school and what level you are currently at, as well as all the documentation I currently have um, that basically tells me where you're at. So let me go back to this presentation. So we have seed, sprout, seedling, sapling, and flowering dogwood as our current levels. And in each level, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of different things that you need to achieve. So when you're looking at the document that I put in the chat, if you have any levels that are blank, that just means you haven't achieved that level yet, or any level, that's okay. If you haven't if you have everything that is blank, you might be a brand new enrollee, you might be inactive, or you might just not have documented everything yet. And especially if there's a mistake, feel free to email me. If your school is not on this list at all, definitely enroll or send me an email. All right, so our recognition levels. If you are on this list at the top, that means that you are ready to apply to the seed level by July 1st. And in order to apply to the seed level, you need to achieve four requirements, and they're very simple. Number one, you have to send in your letter of commitment. Number two, you have to identify one school sustainability goal that connects to a START metric. Number three, you have to complete the MGS baseline self-assessment. And number four, you have to identify contact information for for either you or your primary contact, a secondary contact, and an administrator contact. So all of these schools at the top are all eligible to become a seed school by July 1st. The benefits of this level is you're recognized at the award ceremony, you receive a certificate of achievement, you also get a 1 hour conference call with a sustainability mentor, and a promotional kit with press release and social media samples. The next level is level two, Sprout. There are only two schools that are currently seeds that could be Sprout next year. Or if you're a school that does not have a level at all, you could very easily jump through the seed level and go straight to Sprout, as long as you meet all of the seed requirements. So the requirements to achieve the Sprout level, you have to do everything in the seed level. You have to have a person who is ready to do the start data entry, which means they have to have been trained through our programs. They have to complete the start survey. A lot of schools on this call, especially, a lot of y'all have partial start surveys completed, and most of you just need to finish the survey. It's time consuming, but most of it is you might not have the data for it, or you just know that your school does not have it. And then you have to choose either forming a green team or starting to measure waste, water, or energy usage. And if you do both, that's great, but you have to have at least one of those. And the benefits of this level is you get everything on the seed level, and you also get the window cling, which is fun and pretty. You also are eligible now to apply for an environmental educator grant through MIA, which is money, lots of money, so that's exciting. And you cannot apply for that grant unless you are at the Sprout level or higher. And then you're also able to display at the annual Green Schools event hosted in April. Seedling, we've got 7 schools that are available that are able to apply to Seedling and on July 1st. The requirements for this one is you have to have all seed and sprout requirements done, and you have to have both the green team and consumption tracking of water, waste, or energy. And then you have to achieve something called Tier 2 for an educational programming start metric. When you're in start and you start doing the survey and you realize, okay, let's take indoor air quality for an example. You realize, ooh, we've never measured indoor air quality. I have no idea what our indoor air quality is. You would be at a tier 1. But tier 2 is we've started to track our indoor air quality and we have a plan to fix and improve indoor air quality. And then tier 3 is even further that the plan has already been in place and you can show at least a year of improvement of your indoor air quality. So tier 2 is truly like you've made progress on a school sustainability initiative. At this level, you get all of the seed and the sprout benefits. You also get your school specifically is highlighted on Show Me Green School's website, social media, and in our newsletter, which is a nice statewide recognition. You also are recognized at the MIA annual conference and at the annual Green Schools event. You get a reduced rate for teams attending the MIA annual conference, which, as we all know, is conferences can be very expensive. So getting a reduced rate for a whole green team to attend is pretty great. And you also get a reduced rate, or usually it's a sponsorship to the Sustainability Institute for Educators, which is an amazing professional development opportunity over the summer. It's a 3-day event co-hosted by Webster University, the Missouri Botanical Garden, and the St. Louis Zoo. So lots of cool benefits here. Sapling, we have quite a few schools that are ready to apply for sapling next year or this year. You have to have completed all seed, sprout, and seedling requirements. You have to actually demonstrate the reduction of energy use, water use, or landfill waste over 1 to 3 years. Alternatively, you could also achieve an Energy Star score of 75. And most of your school districts already use Energy Star tracking, which is why we offer this as an alternative. And I can talk to you individually if that is your situation. You also have to put a plan in place to measure all waste, energy, and water for the entire school. You have to have tier 2 for 2 educational programming start metrics and tier 2 for 5 organizational culture start metrics. So as you can see, each level not only increases in what you need to achieve, but it also increases the, I guess, impressiveness of what you have achieved, if that's a word. At the benefit of this level, you get all of the benefits from the other levels, and you also get a free registration to either MIA or the Sustainability Institute for Educators. And you also have an invitation to create a Missouri Green Schools webinar or a case study to share your story. And that might actually occur at the MIA annual conference or the Sustainability Institute for Educators. Our final level is flowering dogwood, and we have 3 schools that are able to apply to flowering dogwood this year. Requirements to achieve this level is completing all of the requirements from the other levels, demonstrating that reduction of energy, water, or landfill waste over 1 to 3 years, measuring all waste, energy, and water for the entire school, and then achieving tier 2 for 5 educational programming start metrics, achieving tier 2 for 10 organizational culture metrics, and achieving at least tier 1 for 10 physical play start metrics. And then providing a mentor for other Missouri Green Schools. And we already have a school doing that this year, which is very exciting. The benefits to this one get all the other benefits of all the other levels, and you're invited to present at the MIA conference or the Sustainability Institute for Educators, or both if you're able to attend both. And then you also are invited to apply for the U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Award, which we will talk about in a moment. All right, I'm going to pause there real quickly and just, I know that was a lot of information, and hopefully you've been able to see your individual school to see if you kind of are in the right zone of where you thought you were, or if you think some information is missing, that's okay. We can address that. Any questions so far? Okay. All right, so let's talk about some benefits here. All schools, whether you have a level or not, you are all entitled to come to our professional development sessions throughout the school year. We offer many, many sessions, and we also allow anyone from your entire school or district to come to these for free. So even if they are somebody from a different school, but they're in the same school district as you, because you are enrolled as a Missouri Green School, we encourage you to invite anyone that is interested in school sustainability. School sustainability is also a lot easier to achieve if you have multiple schools in the same district who are pushing for things, because then the district can also change their facilities management, and it's a lot easier to do that in multiple buildings rather than just one at a time. And we also really believe in what we do, so we want to make sure that we are offering this free of charge to anyone who wants to do this work. All right, so our first session that we're offering is next week, January 28th at 3 p.m. This is the Start Introduction. It says that this is for all sprout, seedling, sapling, and flowering dogwood schools, But I also want to make sure that any school that's interested, even if you are brand new, even if you have just enrolled, you are welcome to attend any session. Specifically, START is helpful for new schools because even though it could be a little bit overwhelming and a little not applicable, it will give you an idea of where you're heading next. So if you are somebody who's already well into this program, this session is the one that I told you. The first half will be the basics, and the second half will be much more technically advanced information for those schools who have been using it for a while. So if you're a newbie, come from 3 to 3:30, and if you are an advanced user of START, come from 3:30 to 4, and we will not think you are rude at all. Our next session is MGS 101, How to Achieve the Seed Level. All schools who do not have a level should attend. So that's everybody listed at the bottom of this screen. You guys should come, and any school that has been inactive for a while, any school that is newly enrolled, come on to this session. This is the most basic session of the Missouri Green Schools program. We'll review how to achieve each requirement of the seed level, and we'll also get you started on anything that's a little bit confusing. This is a very informal session meant to be more of a working session with our new schools. And so we can really get into the nitty-gritty of what y'all are doing and what you need help on. In March, we will go to Missouri Green Schools 201, How to Achieve the Sprout Level. And so anyone who is looking to move from seed to sprout or from not enrolled in a level to sprout, you guys should all attend. This session, we're going to talk about how to keep a green team going, how to access reports to track energy, waste, or water, and how to complete the START survey. Again, a pretty basic session, but also meant to be a working time for you to really get through some of this material, and it should be a very practical session. MGS 301 is a much more in-depth session. So this one, we have guest speakers coming to talk about energy, waste, and water. We have an expert for each one of those. This is probably the most academic learning series that we offer because we are allowing the experts to talk about the importance of tracking these, but also the nitty-gritty of how to do it at your school. Especially if you're a teacher, and even most of you as principals, you don't have access to these reports. You don't get an Ameren bill. You don't get an American Water bill directly to you. And so finding the information can be very tricky. So this session will help you understand how to find the reports from your district and how to influence your district and your school and your student behavior to make sure that you are reducing energy and water usage and making sure that you are not adding to the landfill and instead we are diverting from the landfill. Everybody who is interested in audits and tracking should come to this session. It's designed for seedling, sapling, and flowering dogwood. However, I would say that every single school could benefit from this session because you will learn a lot from these amazing experts. And then we have MGS 401 in May, and this is the Pillars of Green Ribbon. So this is truly for people who are close to achieving the flowering dogwood level or schools that know eventually they want to apply for the Green Ribbon Award. We will talk about all three pillars of the Green Ribbon Award. And we will also talk about all of the benefits of achieving the national recognition. This is an award that I won as a principal for my school because we had an enormous amount of community support and it took us a long time to achieve it. So I am uniquely qualified to help you understand how to achieve this award for your school. But I also am very excited to share with you that it's feasible and possible, even under the most dire of circumstances. So everybody interested in the national recognition of school sustainability should come to this session. And then in the fall, we do not have our dates and times released yet, but we will repeat every single one of those courses because we know that some of you will not be able to attend in the spring. And we also know that schools can enroll in this program any time of the year. And so we are more than happy to accommodate and make sure that they get the same professional development that we offered in the spring. All right, any questions on the professional development that we offer? All right, we're gonna keep pushing. All right, many resources are available to you because you are part of Missouri Green Schools. I do want to pause here and add something to the chat again because we have so many wonderful things available to you. Give me one moment, please. All right, into the chat, I am placing a link to your Missouri Green Schools resource. Oh, I'm sorry. Can somebody let me know if this link actually works? I just got an error message on my chat. Hmm. All right. Okay, perfect. Thank you. It did work. All right, so in this lovely Google Drive folder, you have a lot of resources and information. Please don't be overwhelmed. It's really meant for you to look at in your ample amounts of free time that you have as an educator. But really, it starts with a Start Here folder, and this is for all of our newly enrolled schools and schools applying for seed. It gives you some really basic information and also kind of puts you on a trajectory of what should you do now that you are enrolled. The program logistics folder has the frequently asked questions and the communication log for the participant list. So if there's a school out there that has already achieved a level that you would like to achieve, you can look their contact information up, send them an email, and say, how did you do this? It also includes the level requirements and the benefits, which is a really helpful document to kind of keep handy. Then the Missouri Green Schools events folder has your entire yearly calendar, the Missouri Green Schools Learning Series descriptions, and the annual Green Schools event information. And then the sustainability initiative ideas. This is probably going to be your most important folder because it gives you ideas for projects, sustainability initiatives, and just ideas of how to make your school more sustainable. And we specifically focus on things that cost as little money as possible. And we provide a lot of ideas that are free because we know that school budgets are really non-existent, and it's pretty tough to ask your principal or your school district to pay for more things. So our all of our ideas really try to focus on either free or very, very low cost. There's also an entire section of how-to guides, and that provides some technical support for maybe some areas like if you've never heard the term integrated pest management, there's a whole thing on what it is and how to achieve it and why it's important for sustainability and for student health. The one of my favorite things in there is the resource library. This is all organized by topic that has to do with any aspect of sustainability. I'm in charge of that resource library, and I change that every single day. I put information in, I take information out. If a link dies, I try and take it out as soon as possible. But if there's new links, I'm constantly adding to this. And at the bottom of this slide, as I explained, if there is a resource that you cannot find or that you don't think exists yet, please let me know because I love researching this stuff and I love finding resources for schools. And then your final folder in the resources for Missouri Green Schools Google Drive is the Start Technical Support folder. And this is a great resource, especially if you need a refresher. It can be a little overwhelming if you're just trying to start, but if you've been in it and you just need a refresher, that folder is very, very helpful. Finally, we have an interest survey to ask if you would like to be a part of the case study book that we are writing. The Show Me Green Schools program we are coming together as a committee and we are writing a book for school sustainability, and we are highlighting cases specifically in Missouri, and those cases are our schools. And we want to publicize what's going on in Missouri because as one of my favorite colleagues says, Missouri, not last in everything. We actually are amazingly on the forefront of school sustainability. And so we're trying to publish our efforts. And so we have a link here if you would like your school to be in the book or published in the book or even interviewed anonymously, we can do that too. Um, so just let us know, but it's great publicity for your school. All right, I'm going to pause here and get out of our lovely screen share. And I'm going to take it to our group here and see if we have any questions or concerns. I did have one question that was directly sent to me about did we get something mailed to us, a packet? And the answer to that question is yes. You were supposed to receive a packet in the mail from me. It was mailed probably 4 weeks ago. And it definitely should be at your school by now. If it is not, feel free to let me know. You can either send me an email or put it in the chat, and I will follow up and I will send you another packet. It has a lot of information in there, just some printouts of some of the things that we went over today so that you don't have to waste any of your own ink on it. But I do want to make sure that you get that. And it also includes the decal sticker for your school window to display that you are a Missouri Green School. All right. Any other questions for anyone who would like to come off of mute or put a question in the chat?
I have a question about one of the training sessions that you had mentioned that at a certain time the
Sure.
new schools should attend and the time that the um, other schools who have been in the program at different levels should attend. Could you kind of clarify what that was?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go back to those programs here on the screen. So this is it was it this one, the very first MGS 101. This is all schools that are brand new should go to this session for sure. This should also be a school that has been in the program for a while but has never achieved a level. So this might be a school that, enrolled 2 years ago, but then that staff member is gone and it just never went anywhere. And now there's a new staff member who's taking up the charge. You should come to this. So this is a great session for just the basics of this program. And I go into much more in-depth information, and it's a lot of one-on-one kind of discussion of your specific school and where you're at.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Thank you for your comment, Mark. I'm glad this was helpful and comprehensive. All right, y'all. I'm going to stay on. And if you have any questions, feel free to stay on as well. And if not, I would love to release you back into your existence and have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much for attending at a bizarre time. So I really appreciate it. And I'll see you at the next sessions around 3.
I have a question, Deborah.
Hey, Sarah, what's up?
Um, so I just so Brian Nicotine, who you
Yeah.
suggested on that's part of the team or whatever, he asked me to help do this at Brentwood Middle and Brentwood High School. I was just wondering, how do people come up with their ideas?
I'm going to
Or
show you. I'm going to show you how they do that. There is this amazing document in our resource folder called
their shared
100.
folder?
Yeah, in the shared folder, it's called 101 Ways to Green Your School, and it is so helpful. It's like one of the easiest things to access on earth, and it just helps you kind of say like, well, shoot, we could do that. Oh, I could do that. Oh, okay, that's free. This is definitely my favorite one. Hold
But
on.
that no one's ever done before because I'm having a hard time thinking about our school and um, what practices we could put in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was sort of even by administration. So it
Yes.
it can be something that's already been suggested, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. It can be as very it can be very small. Like these things sometimes are as small as we're just going to send home a pamphlet that says, we're working on X, Y, and Z. This is what school sustainability is. We'd like to inform you about it. Or it could be, try and send your child with less plastic and shoot for a different material in your school lunches or something to that effect. Um, I mean, sometimes schools want to take on big projects that require maybe some funding, like a compost bin and figuring out how to compost. But for me, when I was still in the classroom, there's no way I could have done that. I did not have the bandwidth to take on a project like that. When I was
Mm-hmm.
the principal, I did, but as the teacher, did not have time for that. And so it's really this document is incredibly helpful because it's just small steps, like little tiny things here and there that are some really good ideas of just how to take one step at a time instead of trying to like take on like the world, basically. Like we're not going to reverse climate change because of one classroom, but we are going to reduce, maybe that classroom's landfill things. So I think that it's really important not to get overwhelmed by everything and just say like, okay, I want to take this one step at a time and I want to see what we can actually do. The other thing in this folder, this is for sure my favorite document, but I really like this one because it helps you, it's organized by the metrics in the START system. So it helps you like really organize your thoughts. Like if you really want to focus on educational programs, which is a lot easier to control as a teacher, or if you want to say like, no, we want to go straight to physical place because I have a connection to, buildings and grounds or the facilities manager. You can get into all of these different projects. And it's really helpful. A lot of these have links next to them, so it's like a simple website that you can go to. But a lot of it is just engaging students or colleagues in the work, and it can be very, very small and simple.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure,
That's helpful.
no problem. It's a really good question.
Well, it just seemed so overwhelming at first. And I was like, well, I can't think of like anything that hasn't been done yet or by other schools or that's innovative.
Yeah,
So that,
absolutely. I think the answer to that is don't worry about innovation. Just, I think you get to do what is helpful to your school community and to your physical building. And for every school, that's going to look different. So it's going to be innovative no matter what, because every single school needs something different. So I think it's really helpful. And if you're at Brentwood, I think Brentwood has an amazing opportunity because you have such a diverse student population and you have a diverse staff population. And so helping them kind of engage in the process and get them to say what's important to them in this, battle of sustainability. I think that you'd get a lot of different answers of what they would want to do. So it'd be really interesting.
okay, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Carly, I saw your question in the chat, accessing that folder. I'm going to send all of this information out tomorrow. You'll get a full follow-up with the link to this presentation, the link to the recording, and also all the links that I talked about tonight. But I am going to send you the link to the folder right now so that you have it with you.
Will this come via email?
Yes, it will.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Of course. All right. Anything else I can answer for either you, Carly, or Aaron? Okay, I'm going to sign off. Thank you all so much for attending. It was really great to just get through this information, and I know you guys are busy, so I appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your evening.